we start catastrophizing that this is never going to end. But you
Right.
have no proof of that. We have no proof that this is not coming to an end. And the way you've described your son,
Hmm.
I think he wants this fixed as much as you do. Welcome to the Sally Harris Show, where moms of estranged adult children find faith, courage, and healing. And I want to introduce you today to a mom that I am speaking with from Arizona. So, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Sally. Great to be here. Thank you.
So, I'm going to just kind of set the stage for what that looked like, beginning stages of what you shared with me, with what you're going through with your son. This is a pretty fresh situation. It hasn't been that long that you've been limited to no contact with him. And I just wanted to mention he's 33 years old. He's married, newly married, and we're going to get into all of that. But that's kind of the backstory of that. We're going to dive into some questions here. And one of them is, can you kind of describe for us, what is the current status with you and your son? We'll get into the event that happened in just a minute, but kind of, you said it's been going on for about 4 months, which is very raw, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So what is the current status? Maybe share a little bit about some recent text message that you've had with him.
Yeah. Current status is no contact between either of us. And the last text was on Christmas Day, where he was the one that instigated the text saying, Merry Christmas, Ma, love you.
That's beautiful. Okay. Um, I hope you know that that is a win, even though it doesn't may not feel like it's that big of a deal. It really is.
I do feel like it was a win. I did feel very much that it was obligatory on his part, but that's just me.
Hmm.
That was my feeling, knowing my son.
So tell us a little bit about what the relationship looked like prior to the event that took place at the wedding.
I felt it was a warm and loving relationship, especially since he graduated from high school. Because before that, he was under his dad's control, so to speak, 18 and below. And we had horrible custody battles where I finally, even though I got full custody of my son, because I didn't want to burn everything down, I actually let him go to his father when he wanted to. So he was 10, 11 years of age at that time. And that's the time I felt boys need to also be with their dads more. They start breaking away from their moms a little bit then. And so I felt that was the healthiest thing to do. But it wasn't easy for me. I was heartbroken a lot of the times. I had to walk on eggshells throughout his life. And that continued. But at high school, when he was able to kind of become his own person, our relationship just got closer and closer because he did have a very, what I would call dysfunctional relationship with his father and stepmother. I mean, I was so involved in his college years. That's why I'm in Arizona, because he went to school there and developed his life there. So I visited all the time and we were very close. We FaceTimed many times a week. He told me everything, shared everything with me, all his ups and downs and girlfriends and breakups. And it was a wonderful relationship. It was
Okay.
warm, close. Yeah.
So tell us what happened. What was this triggering event you said that happened that kind of led to this estrangement?
Wedding day 4 months ago. It was a destination wedding, even though it was in Arizona, but everybody had to fly into it, travel to it, including us. Nothing from the moment everyone arrived, nothing went right. The weather didn't cooperate. The setup wasn't as expected for my son and his bride to be. And it just was not good.
Your son and you, like you said, mentioned about a public blow up was kind of humiliating in front of.
He was so stressed out, and he tends to get very stressed out for situations like this. And I just am there, calm, trying to be there for him, as is his stepdad, who's been a loving stepdad for 26 years to him. My husband helped him with all the stuff that he needed help with, and he called on my husband, not his best friends, not his best man. It was my husband, as usual, that he called on for help in his darkest moments on that weekend. This was before his wedding day, this 2 days before.
Mhm.
Anyway, super stressed out. We actually never really saw him because he was so engrossed where they were staying, which was an uncomfortable place to try to get to because it was in the mountains. All I can say is on the wedding day, when I decided not to have this is sounds going to sound so ridiculous. When I decided not to partake in the hair and makeup session, which I thought was no big deal. That's a thing for the bride and her bridesmaids and mother. I'm the mother of the groom. So I said, to my future daughter-in-law, I've just, I'm more comfortable doing my own hair and makeup.
Mhm.
And I jokingly said, and we had just come back from their cabin. And I just said, I'm too lazy to go all the way back again and get a ride. Well, that blew it all up. Something as simple as that. So there was a lot more going on here than hair and makeup, but that's what blew it up. And her bridesmaids come down to, quote unquote, discuss this with us, me, and my husband was really protecting me from all of it. So he went out to speak with them. My son didn't like that. And he came down and in front of all our friends and loved ones was so cruel and hurtful to my husband in front of our cabin, in front of everyone. He almost like he weaponized the past where we thought things had gotten resolved. He brought things up from a 10-year-old's perspective. So that's it in a nutshell. And it was
Okay.
cruel and horrible. And I was devastated and wanted to
Yeah.
go home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is so difficult. So fast forward, you got through the wedding.
Yeah.
Has there been any attempts to reconcile or have a conversation about what happened?
His his wife, a week after the wedding or so, or 2 weeks after the wedding, my son and I were texting back and forth about student loans and him being on my cell phone plan and all that. And that opened up the funnel of awfulness. So that text that can, followed from there and what he was feeling. I shared what I was feeling. He shared all that with his wife, which was fine with me. I wanted her to, I didn't care if she saw it. I was being honest. And she wanted to come up and talk to us without my son. We said yes initially, but after we thought about it, we said, no, we're not going to get her vitriol. So we decided to say, this doesn't feel comfortable. And if we want to have a functional, healthy relationship going forward, I think it would be best to do that with a third party, like a therapist.
Okay.
So we would love to
Okay.
do that. The last text back after that was from my son saying, I understand and we will give that some thought. But that was it. There was nothing after that except for the Thanksgiving when I texted him, Happy Thanksgiving.
Say this, you're angry. It came as a shock. You meant no
Yeah.
harm in it. She was a stressed out bride, probably
Yes. Yes.
overreacted, probably just wanted you to be a part of it along with the whole party with her mom.
Which I had been. I was the very gracious future mother-in-law, going with her and her mother to look at wedding dresses. I couldn't have done any more. Even though I really didn't want to. I didn't want to either. I did,
Yeah. Okay.
because he hadn't really known her that long. It wasn't a long engagement or relationship. So I didn't really know her, tried to get to know her, not easy, but I did my usual, I went over and above trying to be friendly and warm and loving to her and her mother because she was a single mom raised.
So tell me a little bit about how your faith has helped you cope during this time. If you're listening today and you're thinking, I really need more support, I do offer what's called a heart to heart consultation. It's a 30-minute consultation. It's not a coaching call, but it's designed for moms who are ready to explore coaching, whether it be one on one or group coaching. So if that is you and you're interested, you can check out the link below. We'll see you soon.
Well, I always fall back on my own faith, my spirituality, and that has sustained me because I know I have no control over this. None. My s my son knows, knows I love him, and I will be there for him no matter what. It hits the fan, I'm gonna be there for him, and I couldn't have done that without having my a higher power to go, "I leave this in your hands. Help me, guide my thoughts, guide my actions." That's how it's helped me.
Yeah. Well, and the Lord does guide our steps if we allow him to. He's going to guide
Yes.
him, but sometimes if we want to stay on the straight path, we need to look to him for that. Otherwise, we're like this, right? We're going all over the
Yeah,
place.
all over the place.
Yeah, yeah. So one of the biggest questions you had is like the fear that this will never change. And so I just want to give you some encouragement here. I want you to know that the different things that you've mentioned, the reach outs, the fact that you had said, hey, maybe we should have a third party, that whole thing. He said, we'll give it some thought. He's been respectful in that manner. He wasn't respectful in person towards your husband, towards the stepdad who he adored and respected. It might have been the stress of the wedding. Who knows what it was? We don't know. There's a lot of unknowns. We can
Yes.
make speculations, but that doesn't serve anyone. So the fact that there is this positive touch points with him, not at the pace that you would like it to be, because it has been a few months, I am very encouraged for you that this is just going to be a matter of time in regards to the daughter-in-law probably does have a factor in this because I don't know how old she is. Is she young too?
Same age, maybe,
These
6
early
months
30s.
older. Yeah, same
Okay.
same age.
Her feelings were hurt, so therefore maybe she's holding a grudge. And when people hold grudges and resentment, and over time, if it's not dealt with, it's going to stick. Doesn't mean it can't be taken care of, but any touch points with your son, very gently asking maybe if they've considered it. And the only reason I say that is because they have said he told you he would consider it. So that would be something that I would do maybe in the near future is reach out to him and ask if that's something that they have considered.
Okay.
Just in a very short and concise, no emotional type text or message, however you contact him. He seems like like you said, he knows that he's loved. Yes, you said he acted like a 10-year-old boy. He also went through a very long, hit the divorce from a very young age, etc. A lot of our kids revert back to when there was some trauma in his life. Could be something big, could be something super small. Doesn't matter the size of it. But when our kids act like teens or younger, things happen at that age, right? And it could be even just
Yes.
a perception of how he felt about himself, how he thought mom or dad felt about him. The gamut goes on. Could be a lot of things. But I think that would be my best suggestion for you moving forward in the near is to reach out to him in that because he's kind of given you an open door here. So my last question to you is if you could tell your son one thing, what would it be?
Well, what I've already told him, that I love him no matter what, and I will always be here for him, and I am deeply sorry for anything that I have done, said, or acted that I am completely unconscious about because I can't fix what I don't know I did or said or acted. And I do like to self-reflect that way. What have I done to contribute to this? So I'd like him to know that I want to know.
Right. You do need to assume good intent because our
Yeah.
mind can go all over the place and take us to a lot of dark places.
Yes.
And then we start catastrophizing that this is never going to end. But you
Correct.
have no proof of that. We have no proof that this is not coming to an end. And the way you've described your son,
Mhm.
I think he wants this fixed as much as you do.
I'd
But you
love
have
to
to
hear.
remember that he has a new life now. He's married. And so that relationship is going to look a little different than it did before. And that's okay.
It is. It
That's
is
okay.
okay. Yeah.
Yep. So just learning what that new relationship can look like so you guys could be on the same page is what you're kind of shooting for. So I just want to thank you for being here. Thank you for being vulnerable and sharing. I know this is raw and fresh for you. This isn't, this has not been long drawn out, and I pray that it's not. But I think taking those next steps would be good for you, and for your relationship with him, to just let him know that you're still there. You're not putting pressure, but it's an invitation. But there's no pressure, and that's what
Mhm.
I think he needs to feel.
I think that is really helpful to hear that from you. And
Yeah.
in my heart, it feels right to do as well. And I don't think I would have done that without some prodding.
Mhm.
Yeah.
All
From
right.
someone on the outside, you know what I
Mhm.
mean? Not so close to this. Yeah.
Well, you keep me
Thank you,
you keep
Sally.
me keep me posted here on how this goes. Very good. It's very nice having you. Thank you for being here. And for those of you moms that are listening to this and you want to share your story in a platform like this, you can reach out to for more information. So thank you. We'll see you next time. God bless.